Good day, class. I hope that this message is meeting you in good health and good spirit. I'm glad that you've made it through the midterms and paper. That was one rough week, I'm sure, for all of you, and my prayers were with you through the whole time. One thing that I wanted to run through you is after the midterm, no one made 100. We had a few 95s. More A's on that midterm than I've ever had before, but there were still some others, and not one person sent me an email asking why, asking for an explanation. So that means that you either understood the questions were fair, saw the mistake afterwards, or made sense of it afterwards, or you just had questions and frustratingly didn't ask them. Remember, I'm here for your assistance and to explain and encourage, and I know sometimes after busy weeks and missing a question that you feel like should have been right, that sometimes it can be discouraging. And I have been known in the past, if there's a question that you have a great explanation for, that I've changed it. I said, I like your explanation, you're thinking in the right direction, and then I also explained my answer. But anyway, I'm here for that. Also, your papers. I was impressed with the papers. I left comments on every single one of them. It still surprised me how many people had simple technical mistakes, misspellings, run-on sentences that last a page. No one did that, but there were some simple grammar and syntax issues that could have been caught by good editing. So when you are editing your classmates' paper, keep that in mind. A few of y'all emailed me and said you felt like you were being mean. You're not being mean if you're helping them get a better grade. Also, keep in mind when you're writing and when you're editing, this question: is the paper answering the prompt? Remember, answering the prompt is a big part of the grade and a big part of it being a college paper, not a high school paper. So keep that in mind as you're focusing on your next paper. It has been assigned. If you might need to look back in the past couple weeks to find the prompt, print it out, start taking notes, start making your outline. And also don't forget, week by week, and especially now that you're getting into reading 4 or 5 books at a time, that context chart will be due at the end of the semester, and you will have another big, heavy week at the end of the semester. So go on and get that week by week. Catch up now if you can spare an extra hour. It probably won't even take that long. But if you wait till the end, it will be less quality, and it will be a bigger chunk of time out of a busy week. Your reading for this week is, it's getting to some exciting parts. I think this is my favorite week as far as reading along with you, because there's so much in Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians. There's conflict, there's encouragement, there's thankfulness, there's explanations of love, and there's hints of church politics. Remember, this is after Jesus has lived and his followers are now trying to spread the gospel and spread the good news and spread the truth, and they're finding dissension within themselves, or arguing over egos, or immorality within the churches. There was not a handbook. Jesus didn't say, okay, you will be my church, this is how you're going to do it. There were the broad principles, but again, just like in the Old Testament, where the Jews had the laws and had the rules of how society was supposed to be, and they started worshiping the rules instead of using the rules to be organized so that they could worship the God who created them. Same thing kind of happens in church today, where we might look at the books of the epistles of Paul and look at well, it's in the Bible, it says to do this, it says to do this, and so many times we worship the church rather than using the church as a vehicle to further our walk with God. There's a distinct nature in Paul's writings that I love, and it's the internal conflict with being a Christian and still being human. The worldliness of society, being a Christian within a world that is not Christian, and then trying to infiltrate the minds and the hearts of people, whether with words or with deeds or by example. But first and foremost, by the group of believers living the example that Christ set forth. I will also encourage you in one last word to pray before you read. As you are sitting down, there are a lot of chunks of these scriptures that you'll recognize that might be hanging on your wall, that you hear quoted in numerous places. But before you read, give it a try. Just close your eyes and say something along the lines of, God be with me as I read, and let the Spirit enter my heart and open my ears. Amen. It can be that simple or it can be longer, but you get that focus and let the Spirit move you. Happy reading.